Good morning and welcome to the John Hill Chapel for this morning's 2022 Opening Convocation. As we begin, I would ask for you to please silence your cell phones, to remove any ball caps that you may be wearing, and also to stand as you are able and to remain standing for our processional. Thank you.
Good morning. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Derek Hatch, Professor of Religion and Endowed Chair of Baptist Studies here at the college. Would you pray with me? God of grace and of wisdom, as we gather here to officially mark the beginning of a new academic year, help us to be mindful of your presence in classrooms, on athletic fields and courts, in residence halls, in campus offices, in meeting spaces, in student life organizations, in meals, and with others around us. You have shared in our challenges and in our triumphs, in our joys and in our sorrows. Be with us as we walk through this year with excitement and anticipation, yet also with some fear and trembling. Awaken in us an abiding love of learning and a deep desire for you, that we may seek the truth, but do so in love. O God of grace and wisdom, we are truly a people who are on the way. Light our path as we journey through this coming year. Give us courage and help us to remember that you are here in the beginning, because you are the end. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, one God, forever and ever. Amen.
You may be seated. Oh my goodness, welcome. It is so good to see you all here for Opening Convocation. I will admit it, I'm kind of a sucker for formal events and ceremony and all of this sort of stuff, and I just love this event. I love this way of marking the beginning of the school year, and I like the way that it gives us this opportunity to also invite our new students into the ceremonies that are part of what it is to be a Georgetown College student. If you're a first-year student, I hope you enjoy this first formal Nexus event, your first formal Tiger event in your Nexus calendar that you'll have the opportunity to do, and that you will embrace the opportunity to come to these various events as they are offered, these signature ceremonial events. And I hope that all of you will consider coming back again year after year, that it becomes one of those events that marks the passage that you have through your academic career. and that you look forward to the time when you will be at your very last opening convocation, when you're entering into your senior year, and can look back at all of the ones that you've had in the past and realize that you have spent these many years as part of a wonderful community of individuals who are all striving together for this opportunity to achieve an education, to have friends that you will have for the rest of your life, to know that you are part of a larger group that will always be a Georgetown College family. So I'm so glad to have you here. Want you to take a quick look at the program with me. We will not have a lot of introductions as we go through. We'll just move from item to item as we progress. But I do want to introduce here Mr. Christopher Powell, our Director of Choral Activities, who will come to lead us in our opening hymn.
Will you stand with me, please? Come, thou fount of every blessing, tune my heart to sing thy grace. Streams of mercy never ceasing, call for songs of loudest praise. Teach me some melodious sonnet, sung by flaming tongues above. Praise thy name, I'm fixed upon it, name of God's redeeming love. Here I raise to thee an altar, hither by thy help I've come, and I hope by thy good pleasure safely to arrive at home. Jesus taught me when a stranger, wandering from the fold of God, he to rescue me from danger interposed his precious blood. Oh, to grace how great a debtor daily I'm constrained to be. Let thy goodness like a fetter bind my wandering heart to thee. Prone to wander, Lord, I feel it, prone to leave the God I love. Here's my heart, oh, take and seal it for thy courts above. Thank you. You may be seated.
Good morning. I'm Curtis Sandberg, the Vice President for Student Life and Dean of Students. Hello, my students, and hello, my friends and colleagues. It's exciting to see you here today, and I have the pleasure of introducing our SGA officers today. But first, I want to let you know about a couple of things regarding SGA and some of our other student organizations. SGA has moved. They moved from the basement of the Student Center up to the third floor. We're neighbors now. They're right outside of my door. So that means now that we have SGA on that third floor, we have GAC, we have the RAs and RACs come up there to meet with their folks. We have FSL, Fraternity and Sorority Life Central, up there. So it is truly just a great space for all of our students and student leaders, and I look forward to seeing you up there this year. So unfortunately, Riley Davis, the SGA president, is not able to be with us this morning, but in her place is the SGA vice president, Abby Perry. And Abby will be introducing the SGA Executive Council. Abby is a junior from Richmond, Kentucky, majoring in psychology with a communications minor and a sports relations minor. She's a member of the Kappa Delta sorority, the managing editor of the Georgetonian, a health scholar, Christian scholar, and in the pre-law program. Abby?
Thank you, Dr. Sandberg. Good morning. My name's Abby Perry, as Dr. Sandberg said. Just kidding, stop. I'm the Student Government Vice President, and thank you all for welcoming me since Riley Davis couldn't be here today. First and foremost, I just want to start by saying Georgetown's very near and dear to my heart. These past 2 years have been nothing short of amazing, so I hope you all have the same experience as I do. I started my time here as a lost freshman and have grown into a leader. If you told me when I was a senior in high school that I would be speaking to you all at an annual traditional ceremony for the college, I would think you were lying. I can assure you that this is the case for so many other students here at Georgetown. For most people, when they think about college, they think about a place to get their undergraduate education and move on to greater things like graduate school or their career. We hear about the students who go to large universities and get lost in the large numbers of other students and their professors who don't even know their first names. These students always say they're so ready to be done with school and they can't wait to graduate. This is not the case for our little Georgetown. Here, we create bonds that last a lifetime with not only our fellow classmates, but our professors and administrators as well. Whether it's professors attending your sporting event or emailing you when you've had a bad day, they truly care about the well-being and deeper connection of their students. While we surely use the scientific method and Foundations 111 writing skills that we all love, what's even more important is the ability to create connections that will last a lifetime. With this, one of my responsibilities as SGA Vice President is being in charge of all RSOs, which is Registered Student Organizations. This is something I have a really strong passion for because it encourages students to not only be part of an organization, but also creates those strong bonds and lasting memories that I previously mentioned. By a show of hands, who all is involved in some sort of club or organization? Okay. Each hand raised represents a person, and each person has the ability to change people's lives by creating bonds and encouraging them in all aspects of their life. I challenge each of you to do so. So let me leave you with this. Alumni, faculty, and staff, keep encouraging students to be the best versions of themselves. Seniors, cherish the last year that you're here because later on down the road, you're going to wish you'd savored it more. Juniors, this year's going to be stressful for us, but take pride in knowing you're doing your best. Sophomores, you're finally comfortable and settled here, so take the year to appreciate the people around you. Freshmen, make these next 4 years exactly what you want because your time is now. I'm so excited to see where Georgetown College takes us this year, and I'm so proud to be a part of it. Thank you. Now I'm going to introduce our SGA. So first, I'll start with Kaya Lanter. She is our VP Campus and Community Affairs. And Kaya is a sophomore. And then, yeah, that's good. And then we have Katie Maupin. She's our parliamentarian. And then Miss Kate Ruggles is our Vice President of Public Relations. And Harrison Boer is our Vice President of Academic Affairs. Student government elections will be held sometime in November, so if that's something you're interested in, just reach out to one of us and ask more about our position. Thank you.
In the vein of introductions, it's also wonderful to get to meet our new faculty each year. My name is Dr. Jonathan Sandswise, and I'm provost here at Georgetown College, and it's my pleasure to introduce our new faculty. So if our new faculty could all come stand up here and face the audience so that I can introduce you, and we'll go in alphabetical order. First, we have Frank Billingsley. Go ahead and wave your hand, Frank. Dr. Billingsley joins us in our business department, where he will specialize in management and the human side of business, as he likes to put it. Though originally from Ohio, he has spent the last 18 years teaching in Belgium and loves to travel. Of all the many cities and countries he has visited, his favorite place is Istanbul. Next, we have Sylvia Encinas. Professor Encinas actually joined us full-time last spring, teaching in our Spanish department, but this will be her first full year at GC. She's currently completing her PhD at UK and has taught for years at both the high school and college level, including 9 years at Williamstown Independent Schools. She is an avid baker and kayaker, and she told me she lives right by the Elkhorn Creek and likes to take advantage of that as often as possible. I think she means for kayaking, not for the baking. I didn't clarify that, but just throwing that out there. Next, we have Lisa Gadberry. Professor Gadberry is the first of 3 new professors joining our education department this fall. She's taught in a variety of positions since 1991, including most recently teaching math at Lexington Catholic High School. Professor Gadberry loves spending time at the lake, boating, and water skiing. In fact, she loves spending time at the lake almost as much as she loves her toy poodle, Scooter. Tom Hiley is our second professor for education. Dr. Hiley brings extensive teaching experience at the college level, and those who have had the chance to enjoy his classes so far will not be surprised that he is an avid thespian and loves participating in local musical theater. I think you can tell when you meet him. Next, we have Tim McKay. Professor McKay specializes in exercise science and has been a practicing research exercise physiologist at U of L, where he is also working on his PhD. Perhaps not surprisingly, Professor McKay loves to lift and coaches bodybuilders. Unfortunately, he is also a die-hard Colts fan, but try not to hold that against him. Next, we have April Simpson. Dr. Simpson is joining us in our religion department, specializing in New Testament. She comes most recently from teaching at Bucknell University, and she's done some very interesting work on the Gospel of Mark. You may also be interested to know that she also specializes in fantasy football and enjoys it greatly, especially when she beats her husband in the championship, as she did last year, a fact that our entire college community now knows. And then our final member was not able to join us, but we'll go ahead and recognize Dr. Rob Stafford, who's also joining us in education. He can watch the recording later and appreciate that he still got applause. He's not joining us this morning because he is the superintendent at Owen County and is still actively in that role. But we are thrilled to have him teaching for us this fall and joining us full-time in the spring. And I believe I heard from Dr. Walters Parker that our 3 new education professors bring something like a century of teaching experience from preschool to high school. So along with all of our new faculty, we can be confident that our departments continue to grow stronger and that as you get to enjoy their classes, you will continue to get the exceptional personal education for which Georgetown College is so rightly known. Thank you all. It is also my pleasure as provost to provide our faculty awards or announce our faculty awards at each ceremony. At the opening convocation, we give the John Walker Manning Award, and I encourage you to read more about that in your program. But this award recognizes faculty who are not only excellent teachers, but who have, in the words of the gift, quote, shown a commitment to Georgetown College by being involved in extracurricular activities with students. Our faculty often are known as much for their mentorship and personal involvement with students as they are for their exceptional scholarship and teaching. Given its focus on mentorship and activities with students outside of the classroom, it is appropriate that among our major faculty awards is the only one nominated by students and awarded by a committee of students and faculty staff working together. As that committee came together to discuss this year's exceptional nominees, one student noted of this year's winner, "I can't believe this person hasn't won it already." This is an individual who has long committed exceptional hours to individual student attention and care. One nominator noted that this person sets high standards, but also works exceptionally hard to ensure that students acquire the tools that make it possible for them to meet those standards. Due to the nature of the program this person directs, it is necessary not only to oversee students completing a tutorial directly with him, but also all of the students completing tutorials with other exceptional faculty. One of the criteria for the award states that the winner shall have contributed to the college academic community above and beyond regular duties during the past 2 years. And there is no better description of this year's winner. For when the pandemic made it impossible for students to travel to Oxford, this individual went far above and beyond in trying to bring Oxford to Georgetown. Not only through Zoom tutorials with Oxford faculty, but also by starting the new tradition of having a high table event each spring for Oxford students and their tutors. Beyond that, he spent countless hours as an anxious travel agent, planning and leading a compensatory travel experience to Oxford this past summer for students whose only Oxford experience thus far had been online. Known for his passion in the classroom as much as for his generous mentorship outside of it, this professor is clearly deserving. And speaking personally as one of my mentors and friends, it brings me great pleasure to name Dr. Bradford Hadaway as this year's Manning Award recipient. I am less pleased, however, to share that unfortunately it was impossible for Dr. Hadaway to be here today. Hopefully he is watching at home, doubtless on his new smartphone. But regardless, we will get this award to him as soon as we can, and I would like to recognize his wife Jody and 2 children who have been with us today as well. Thank you all.
It is my pleasure as president, I'm President Rosemary Allen, to introduce our college's executive cabinet. These are the individuals who lead our administrative processes, and it is important, I think, for all of our students to know who these individuals are and know that you have access to them, as you do to me. At any time, they can be of help and assistance. So I'm going to ask all of my executive cabinet to stand, and then again, I'll ask you to turn and face the audience. There you go. Good work. Okay. And make sure that you wave when you are introduced. And I'm going to do this in alphabetical order, which will give you a little bit of a sense of who to expect next. And I'll start first with Mr. John Davis. He is our Senior Vice President of Advancement. John, did you wave? Okay, here we go. Mr. Brian Evans is Vice President of Athletics. New with us this year is Ms. Bethany Langdon, Vice President of Communication and Marketing. I will point out that Bethany is also a Georgetown College graduate, and she's a former student of mine. Yay. Okay, Linda Olson. Ms. Linda Olson is our Vice President of Marketing, or of Enrollment Management. You have already met, but I will say again, Mr. Curtis Sandberg, or Dr. Curtis Sandberg, Vice President of Student Life and Dean of Students. Also behind me is Dr. Jonathan Sands-Wise, Provost and Executive Vice President. Back down here, we have Mr. Russ Sherman, who is our Vice President of Administration and Finance, CFO, and Treasurer. He's the money guy. We also have Ms. Sally Wojtrowski, Vice President of Business Operations. Yes. And somewhere around here providing executive assistant, there she is my executive assistant. This is Ms. Leah Stubbs. You'll always find her outside my office. There she is. Okay, and everybody may now sit down. And that allows me to move on to the next and most wonderful portion of this program, which is the opportunity to hear from somebody very special for our convocation address. I am very happy to have the privilege of introducing our speaker today, who is Dr. Karen McKenzie of the Georgetown College Psychology Department. Karen has a BA in psychology from Yale University and both MA and PhD degrees from the University of Kentucky, where she twice won awards for outstanding research in social psychology. A gifted scholar and speaker, she is much in demand both on campus and off campus for those skills. And indeed, Dr. Mackenzie is the most celebrated of all our many outstanding current faculty, and I can prove this. Now, you've heard of how in the entertainment industry, people strive for the EGOT, the Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, Tony. Well, Dr. Mackenzie is, I believe, the only Georgetown College faculty member who has ever achieved a Crackham, okay? And a Crackham is the Cawthorn Award for Teaching Excellence, the Reading Christian Service Award, the Lindsay Apple Student Life Award, the Curry Award for Faculty Excellence, and the Manning Distinguished Mentor and Teacher Award. As you can see, she is truly legendary as a teacher, as a speaker, as a colleague, as a community member, as a mentor, as an occasional prankster, I'm just gonna say, watch out, and as a friend. And so please welcome Dr. Karen Mackenzie.
Good morning. I'm so excited to see all of you today. Thank you for coming in from the rain to be here. I am thankful and honored to spend this time with you. For all the new students in the room, congratulations. You have chosen a spectacular place for college. Over 25 years ago, I joined the teaching faculty in our psychology department, and it took me only a couple of days to realize just how fortunate I was to be here. An overnight faculty retreat earlier this month reminded me once again of how amazing this place is. And although I could go on and on about the many marvels of GC, I'm going to use my time to give you some advice I hope will help you thrive during your time here. The first piece of advice is related to the importance of personal connections. We are all social creatures, and studies show we suffer psychologically and physically when we are denied our biological need to belong. Life isn't just more fun when you have someone to do things with. Rather, connections with others are required for normal daily functioning. Even rats quickly approach other members of their species after they have been isolated. Those of you with close, committed, supportive relationships fare better in life than those who don't have them. You have better health. Fewer colds, fewer hospital visits, lower blood pressure. Overall, you live longer and experience lower rates of depression and of alcoholism compared to others who are otherwise similar but do not have strong social support. Recognizing this research, the faculty and staff at GC purposefully encourage connections with others in your dorms, in your classrooms, through formal and informal organizations and other events. And you may be thinking, but I'm so shy, or I'm such an introvert. So am I, or I'm never gonna just walk up to random strangers and start talking. No worries. The great news about this research is that relationship quality matters far more than relationship quantity. The person with the most friends is not necessarily the person who wins. In fact, you only need one accepting, caring, stable relationship to get so many of the benefits I mentioned and more. So if you don't know many people that well yet, I encourage you to keep spending time with the people here you do like, who fascinate and intrigue you, who you feel have something to teach you. Those relationships will strengthen over time. Now I would like to offer up one group of faculty, or one group on whom you can count, and that is the faculty and staff here. In fact, I would like any faculty or staff member who is excited and eager to work with our students this year who want to help teach and mentor them to stand up. Just stand up. Let's see who you are. Woo-hoo. Of those of you standing, you're not done yet. If you are a person who is committed to learning from our students this year, wave to them. Go around, just turn around, wave, let them see you, let them know who you are. And now you can sit down. Thank you. A lot of people stood up and a lot of people waved. and I hope all you students remember that. Dr. Adam Grant, an organizational psychologist, recently spoke about psychological safety, the belief that you won't be rejected or humiliated for asking questions or making mistakes. He said one of the biggest roadblocks that today's students experience is their unwillingness to ask for help. Why? Because they think that doing so might make them appear weak or less than. They might be mocked, they might be embarrassed. Dr. Grant told the story of a Georgia Tech professor who was teaching an online course. There were a bunch of students in the class, and so there were multiple teaching assistants available online to help the students whenever they needed it. Well, the professor created a bot to be one of the online teaching assistants, but gave the bot a human name. The students did not ask many questions until they learned that one of the TAs was in fact a bot. And then they started asking the bot for help. Why? To them, it seemed less scary. It was more psychologically safe to ask a computer a question than to ask a person, because that computer was not going to judge them for what they didn't know. So think about your level of psychological safety. Do you think it's a weakness to ask for help? Do you not want your professor, coach, friend, roommate, or classmate to know that you don't know something, so you struggle in silence, wishing you had a bot in those roles? An advising once told me that they would never ask for a tutor, even though they were struggling in a couple of classes, because that made them look weak. No, I assured them, asking for help is an incredible sign of strength. It shows you are wise enough to know when someone else has something that you could benefit from, that the smartest people in every room are the ones who know their limitations and ask for help the most. Why wouldn't we want to gain from other people's expertise? Why wouldn't we ask for a tutor, for a financial aid payment plan, for a counseling session, for studying strategies or time management tips, for a roommate mediator, for additional examples of a hard-to-learn concept until it makes sense? All those actions would illustrate your intelligence, not a lack of. I hope you feel the psychological safety that we are committed to creating here, so you always feel comfortable asking humans for help. We will respect and admire you every time you reach out. Faculty and staff, if you see asking for help as a sign of strength, and if you think you have more to offer our students than a bot might, please stand up. Again, please notice how many people are standing. And now you may be seated. Thank you. We all know that life can be complicated and messy. Our world does not go the way we want it to go all the time, not academically, athletically, extracurricularly, financially, romantically, personally, professionally. We are definitely going to hit bumps. I'm guessing that most of us have already hit several bumps just in the first couple weeks of this semester. I was thinking back to my own college experience. I remember my first semester, I arrived on a campus that was about 800 miles away from home. And the only person I knew on the entire campus was my older sister, who attended the same school. I knew absolutely no one else. I ended up having to have surgery, and so both my arms were in slings, which made writing and pretty much every other daily task really, really tough. I did not have the best attendance to my 8 a.m. psychology course due to oversleeping. The course, ironically, was the psychology of sleeping and dreaming. My boyfriend dumped me. I had no clue what I wanted to study, so much more, but you get the idea. I was stressed, the bad kind. And while there's definitely bad, painful, rotten stress, there is also good, rewarding, beneficial stress. And you largely determine which you'll experience based on your mindset, how you think about that stressful event or situation. My first semester could have been so much more successful if I had just altered my mindset. Dr. Aaliyah Crum, a social psychologist at Stanford, has long studied stress and mindset. She tells the story of when she was a graduate student. It was super late one night, and she was in the psychology building scrambling to prepare for a really, really important meeting she had early the next day with her advisor. Someone from the technology department popped their head in, saw her face, must have realized she did not look like she was in the mood for conversation, and merely said, "It's just a cold, dark night on the side of Everest." And he left. At that time, she wasn't really sure what he meant, but later she interpreted his words as meaning really tough challenges sometimes have really, really tough days, but they should, and we should expect them. Less than a third of Americans have college degrees. Less than a quarter of Kentuckians have them. And there are many reasons why the majority of people in our state, our country, and our world will never graduate from college. And a big one is because it's just so hard to earn a degree. As you know, it requires so much energy, effort, money, time, and incredible amounts of persistence. And those requirements can create cold, dark nights on the side of your Everest because you are working towards something extraordinary that will benefit you the rest of your life. When you experience college stress, that does not mean that you are not worthy, that you don't belong here, that you are not good enough, or that something is wrong with you. That stress simply means you are doing something important and difficult that matters. If college degrees were easy to get, pretty much everyone would have one. So the fact that you will have days that are tough, that is a gift. You are working towards something really significant. And as Amber Austin recently said, when you feel like the water is just coming up to your head, keep going, keep swimming, keep moving forward. One way to keep moving forward is to utilize all resources available to you. You can find a bunch of them as quickly as you can type gogc.me/who to call. You will find a 4.5-page document describing departments, programs, and offices that GC created to ensure you have the resources you need to keep swimming. Use them, as many as you need, as often as you want. Well, you know what I'm going to do now, right? Dear faculty and staff, my beloved friends, I want all faculty and staff who see themselves as a resource to help our students make it through their cold, dark nights on their side of Everest to please stand up. And now you may be seated. Finally, I hope you find and use your voice. Some of the lifelong skills that you will develop during your time here include critical thinking, analytical reasoning, problem solving, writing, communication, and I hope the desire to affect change. My friend Melinda Breadwood once told me that we should all do what we can within our sphere of influence, God bless you, that network of people with whom every one of us can make a positive difference so they feel safe, heard, understood, and accepted. Now, many of you already impact your sphere in a positive way. You're aware, you're involved, you're making changes happen. Keep doing that. Those of you who aren't there yet, I hope this is the year that you find your voice for advocacy. After taking a course that covers a topic you didn't already know about, after hearing a Nexus speaker discussing their life's work, or talking with new friends in the CAP about their experiences and passions. You may give your voice to fight racism, an issue that must be better addressed in our country and our world. But there are all kinds of other isms that need attention: classism, ableism, heterosexism, and there are so many other issues that need more voices to help get them addressed too. Whatever issue or issues that you find most disturbing and unsettling, speak out against what you know is wrong. Stand up for what is right, just, and fair, even if it is uncomfortable and painful. I hope this academic year helps you figure out what you believe in and allows you time in your admittedly very busy lives to advocate for those beliefs. So my 4 bits of advice include: nurture your relationship, ask for help, embrace positive stress, and use your voice. In closing, I want you to know that I along with all members of the Georgetown faculty and staff, we are so glad that you are here. We hope you have an outstanding year. We know you are important, you matter, and we see you. Thank you. Now please rise and join our current SGA Vice President, Ms. Abby Perry, in a unison reading of the Commitment to Community.
Please read along with me on the second page of your program. I accept the opportunity and the challenge of becoming a member of the Georgetown College community. Because I have come to Georgetown by personal choice, I agree to abide by the academic, social, and spiritual standards of the institution. I commit myself to broaden my intellectual horizons, to extend my cultural awareness, to grow spiritually, to enhance my social perception, and to develop my physical well-being. As a member of the Georgetown College community, I will seek to affirm the value and dignity of all its members as we engage in the living and learning opportunities before us.
Okay, thank you, everyone. I'm going to be really brief in my closing remarks, so you can stay standing so that you don't have to stand again for the alma mater because of the up and down. But I do want to say how happy I am that you're all here. I second what Dr. McKenzie said about how I want you all to find your voice. And if you ever see anything or hear anything or want to tell me anything about your experience or about a suggestion you have, please always know that my email is open to you and that you can come see me in the Ask Administration meetings that we have in the CAF on Fridays from 11:30 to 1. I hope to see you there, and I hope you have a fabulous semester. For now, let's have Mr. Powell come and direct us in the alma mater.
You can follow along with the text in your program. Alma mater, our dear Georgetown, belle of the blue, 'tis thee we crown. Thou hast taught us truth and right, and to trust in God's own might. Our alma mater, thy dear honored name, is soul inspiring. Long live thy fame. To us thou wilt be a beacon to guide, to duty, to faith, and truest loyalty. Please remain standing.
Hello, my name is Faith Craycraft, and I am the director of the Graves Center of Calling and Career. If we have not met yet, it's a pleasure to be here to offer our benediction this morning. Please join me in prayer. Father, we come to you this morning at the beginning of this new semester with open hearts and open hands to receive what you have ahead of us. we lean into the opportunity for relationships to belong in this community. We ask that you be with us on this side of our Everest in our dark night, and present when we are experiencing stress. May we be reminded of your promise. Do not be afraid, for God is always with you, that we are never alone. Not only can we lean into your presence, but we can lean into those around us. Thank you for this place. Thank you for these people. May we continue to open our minds to learn new things every day. It's in the name of Christ we pray. Amen. Please remain standing.